The people you keep closest will determine whether you rise to greatness or remain trapped in mediocrity. This isn't just about friendship. It's about survival of your highest potential. In the military, a foxhole represents your most vulnerable position, where you entrust your life to those beside you. In life, your inner circle serves the same critical function. These are the individuals who see you at your weakest moments, yet still believe in your strength when you've stopped believing yourself. But that same sacred space can become a prison if occupied by the wrong people. Small minds with limited vision will unconsciously, or sometimes deliberately, sabotage your growth. They'll drain your energy with their complaints and excuses, make you question your worth through subtle jabs, and weaponize nostalgia to keep you from evolving beyond who you used to be. I've witnessed this toxic dynamic derail countless dreams. When someone gathers the courage to pursue a PhD, launch a startup, or transform their health, their so-called supporters respond with skepticism disguised as concern. That sounds risky, or maybe you should be more realistic. These aren't warnings, they're projections of other people's fears onto your ambition. When I prepared for the Moab 240, one of the most brutal ultramarathons on Earth, my selection criteria for crew members had nothing to do with athletic credentials. I surrounded myself with warriors who understood the psychology of suffering. At 4 a.m., when freezing rain turned the trails to mud and every muscle screamed to stop, I didn't need cheerleaders. I needed allies who'd already packed their gear before I finished my sentence. That's the foxhole mentality. These individuals don't just tolerate your mission, they adopt it as their own. They're the ones who will drag you out of bed at 5 a.m. when your discipline falters, who'll call out your bullshit excuses with surgical precision, who'll physically block your path when you try to quit during the darkest moments. This level of support isn't comfortable, but comfort won't help you break limits. Most people unknowingly sabotage themselves by clinging to relationships that expired years ago. We keep around childhood friends who still see us as the class clown, family members who expect us to stay the insecure kid they remember, partners who fell in love with a version of us that no longer exists. These emotional anchors disguise their resistance to change as loyalty. We've been friends forever, or this is just how our family is. But real loyalty doesn't mean enabling stagnation. When I committed to becoming a Navy SEAL at 24, morbidly obese and working dead-end jobs, nearly everyone dismissed it as a midlife crisis, except my mother. Years later, when I collapsed across the Badwater finish line with third-degree burns and dehydration, she didn't scold me for the damage. She honored the purpose behind the pain. That's foxhole love, the kind that strengthens your resolve instead of protecting your comfort. Evolution requires uncomfortable transitions. When I left lucrative speaking tours to fight wildfires for $13 an hour, my wife, Kish, had to reconcile the man she married with the man I was becoming. Through countless difficult conversations, we forged a new understanding. She learned that my obsession with suffering wasn't masochism, but mastery. Now, when opportunities arise that could compromise my values, she's the first to say no. In return, when she wanted to qualify for Boston, I became her brutal but loving training coach. This reciprocal intensity defines elite relationships. They're greenhouses for growth, not museums preserving who you used to be. I've watched too many promising SEAL candidates quit because their girlfriend or parents bombarded them with doubt during Hell Week's lowest moments. One sentimental attachment to the wrong person can unravel years of preparation. Conduct an audit of your inner circle today. Who genuinely celebrates your growth? Who subtly resents it? The people worthy of your foxhole will 1. Challenge your excuses, but never your potential to. Hold you accountable without humiliation. 3. Respect your evolution even when it inconveniences them. If someone requires you to stay small to maintain the relationship, that's not a friend. That's a hostage taker. You have two options. Brave the loneliness of standing alone until you find true allies, or remain trapped in the mediocre consensus of people who fear your light because it exposes their complacency. Remember, every minute spent convincing doubters is a minute stolen from your destiny. The right people won't need convincing. They'll recognize your hunger because it mirrors their own. Your environment will determine your ceiling. Choose wisely.